And indeed, tonight we find out if reggae is truly unstoppable or stoppable. Gentlemen, welcome to the program tonight. Let's begin with a discussion from the latest point of concern. Members of Parliament allied to the President and the opposition leader today met and they had a press conference. One of the members saying that there was a plot yesterday to impeach, or rather they intend to impeach the President. We saw the numbers and there is this school of thought that the numbers were scary. So let me begin with Moses now that you are in Deputy President's camp. Where does this come from? Was it one of the agendas that was discussed yesterday about impeaching the President? That's why you're looking for numbers.
First of all, I really take exception to that distinction between who is pro-president. We are all pro-president. I think you've been fed with that garbage that some people are pro-president, others are not pro-president. Second, as we said in Naivasha, and the Deputy President was not there. We were members of Parliament, mostly Jubilee, but like-minded. Members from ODM, members from, Ford Kenya and all other parties. But on this issue of impeachment, I saw that on news today and I thought, was I coming for Churchill Live or Sidebar? Because it's really a joke. But it's supposed to be a scarecrow that people cannot sit and discuss about something which we were invited to discuss because of the so-called impeachment claims by people like Gladys Wanga, who said, I don't know, Raisa Najikuna Wapi. It's obnoxious. And it's really uncalled for, really. It's uncalled for.
Who's the joke on, Mheshimiwa?
The joke that when people meet to discuss something which we have been told, now BBI is here, now you are seized of the moment, now discuss. When we meet, if we don't participate in the BBI process, we are doomed. If we participate, we are doomed again. So damned if we do, damned if we don't. What logically
you said it's
are
a
we
joke.
supposed to do?
You said it's a joke. Who's the joke on? The people who said it? The people who
I think it's a joke is on the people who said it.
Okay, the people who said it.
Where did the issue of impeachment come from? Tell me. I'm trying to think logically.
In other words, these members of Parliament in their numbers could gather, call a press conference to joke about an issue such as impeaching the President.
Imagine. That's why I'm at a loss. Of all the things they would discuss, including the locust invasion.
Why did they discuss impeaching the President? John Badi was there. You were there at that press conference.
First of all, let me make it clear that our statement was not on the impeachment of the President.
Yes.
Touched on a number of issues. And more importantly, the genuineness and the honesty with which, let me call it, the Tanga team are coming or joining this BBI discussion. But the issue of impeachment also came up because you see where you gather a large number of members of Parliament and you discuss and something comes up, don't ever imagine that that person will, issue will not get out to even the unintended years. And so we were made we were informed that some of them were suggesting a way of, let me call it blackmailing the President.
Some, you mean the people who are in Naivasha?
Those who were in the meeting in Naivasha. And by the way, it was not a scary number, so to speak. I will tell you these people.
That number of members of Parliament.
The number was not even 140 that were
said there were 170 something.
But even if there were 170, I will tell you that is not a number that can impeach President.
Okay.
Because if it's even National Assembly and the Senate. And I will tell you for a fact, and you can confirm it even when we get back to Parliament, the Tanga team does not have a majority now in National Assembly. I'm sure we can beat them in any motion, any beat. There was a time we were scared of them, not anymore.
We?
And so, yes.
I'm concerned about the we, because he's talking about
I'm talking about we, because I lead a team in Parliament.
The minority team.
The
minority
but
team,
right now,
the minority,
we are not scared of the
Tanga minority.
Team. Yes, everybody knows.
So you are a majority then?
Just listen to me carefully.
Yes.
You see, we all know the political environment that's obtaining at the moment in this country. And I will tell you, if they make a mistake of bringing any far-reaching proposal of that nature, it would fall flat.
Okay.
In the National Assembly, it will not even reach the Senate.
Okay.
So that does not scare us, although it's a matter that has to be talked about. So Moses Kuria, of course, you don't expect him to come to this show and confess and admit what they discussed. But they discussed a number of issues. And I would not be surprised if he denies that that is one of the things that
was discussed. Okay.
Yeah. But when we addressed this matter, Ken, what we were You can't impeach Raila over what? But
you,
even if it was impeachable, you would not manage it, especially in the current political environment.
Okay, I remember what he's saying essentially happened during the debt ceiling debate when the president got numbers without necessarily using the Tanga side to pass the
there are many other
instances that you can give. But let me speak to Senator here. Do you want to join this debate of impeaching the president, not impeaching the president, and what happened in Naivasha?
I think John Bird is right that personally think the statement is overdone, even if the intention is there. In terms of numbers, it cannot be achieved. It won't be.
But how do you rubbish it quite early in terms of numbers?
It's not rubbishing. You know, you rubbish something that is you need to rubbish it. It's just.
So this is.
It's just absolutely fertile imagination.
Okay.
In terms of the impeachment, I actually think, without necessarily even getting into too much detail, that I don't think there's anybody who wants to file that motion.
Okay.
One person.
There'll be someone who is daring enough to file it.
To file that motion, I don't think it's going to happen. But it should bother you and bother the people who are broadcasting this, that we are pushing too many agendas that might lead us to instability of the country. And therefore, I think we should exercise some little caution. And the caution would be that the tuko pamoja is now tulikuwa pamoja, and all this thing is going to cause us problems as a country, and it's something that we ought to consider. Now, if the agenda was BBI, and we are talking about a report, and I've heard what you have said about this report is not about to be voted on the way it is. Even the statement you have made there is not correct. This is just a document for public discourse. The document that needs to be voted on has not come.
But Mheshimiwa, what is this document that is supposed to be voted on? What is this document? Explain to Kenyans. What is this document?
Oh, yes, I need to explain to you.
Yes, what is this document?
This is a report.
Yes.
The report has got proposals. The proposals that need legislative amendment, for example, the proposal on the Prime Minister, the proposal to increase the allocation of counties, the proposal about leader of opposition, the proposal on reform of IBC, are constitutional amendments that must be in a bill. Now, the bill, if you go by popular initiative, must go to the county assemblies and supported by 50%, which is 24 counties. If it's through parliament, it's the same. The process has not commenced. And I believe the idea of having the task force gazetted again was to reduce this document, the whole of it, into a bill. So that then we can identify an issue which you, Wanjiku, Mwikali can vote on.
Okay. Yes. My question was this. Wanjiku doesn't have this document.
Which one?
They don't have this. Every single place we ask them if they have seen the BBI report. They haven't seen it. What are these politicians selling on the platforms?
I think that, personally think that there's some little fault that we must give to the task force, because in the previous constitutional dispensation, the draft report was circulated in advance, and when it is circulated in advance, they gave a timeline. They did the A to Z of the constitutional making. I personally thought that this report would come with an annexure, which would be a draft bill, which we would be discussing. That is what I would think. Okay. And there's another reason for it. The other reason is what Moses Kuria and other people are doing. Eventually, when Amos Wako, Yusuf Haji go to these various counties where this politics is high octane, the conversation will be doctored. The conversation will be skewed.
That's what they're afraid of is happening on the political podium.
Instead of making proposals about a document, people will be looking at political leanings. Okay. And I therefore think that to avoid this sort of politics, now that the document doesn't have that attachment, I personally have proposed that since we are very good people, Amos Wako, what is the name of the vice chair? Adam Solo, very good lawyers, yes. By February, we should have a document that can go for public discourse so that we move this process a little faster before we poison the whole country.